So, Gerald Tearstone,
My dick is hard.
and you're also, and also you're dreaming.
Oh, I'm dreaming.
Yes.
I'm dreaming that my dick is hard.
I mean, that might be a part of the dream. I'm
What
assuming.
what lucid dreaming?
I assume this is not an unusual occurrence for Gerald.
I had a dream where my greatsword was my dick.
So, so yeah, you're in this dream. You're in New Therenfall, in your quarters, back in your room, and everything seems as you remember it. But then around you, sort of your surroundings start to dissolve, for lack of a better term.
Yeah, okay. So it's like it's a stereotypical nightmare sequence.
Well, sort of. But like this ripple comes out from you, and like you see your room, the castle vanish, and then your surroundings, the city itself, changes to another city with like almost fantastical looking architecture. But then as suddenly as that happens, it's gone, and you're back, sort of in a clearing in the outside.
Did I just witness Las Vegas for a moment?
You don't know.
I don't know.
But now you're in a clearing outside of New Therenfall, and you're not alone. You, standing in front of you, a few yards away from you, is a figure, and it takes you a moment to recognize him because you're used to seeing him blue and translucent.
Mm-hmm.
This figure is in a full set of armor with a sword and shield, with like a stoic expression, black hair and a helmet, and with a stubble-covered lantern jaw, like this big.
Oh, it's my boy.
It's this really imposing-looking figure, and he's just staring at you with these intense eyes.
Can I approach him?
Yeah. Although as you do so, he turns away from you, and then you see these new figures step out of, step into the clearing. You can't make out their features; they appear as sort of these darkened silhouettes. But they approach him, and one of them holds something out to him, an object, and he takes it. And he takes it, and then after that, it's sort of in this weird dreamlike way to see, like, you know, in dreams, sort of physics don't really work, so it's not so much as they leave and he approaches you, it's more like your perception shifts and he's in front of you now.
Hot.
And now he's handing this object to you.
What is it?
It is a stone disc, a bit bigger than your hands.
Frisbee?
I mean, you pick it up and it's like, it's heavier than a normal Frisbee would be, but maybe not so much for Gerald, because it is made out of this like black obsidian polished stone.
I'm getting some feedback from you.
Yeah, I'm hearing that too. Are you using your headphones?
I am.
That's weird. So
hold on. How about now?
Testing.
Yeah, I'm not hearing it.
All right, that's a little better. That seems to have worked. Okay, yeah. So it's this black disc of obsidian, and sort of as you take it and examine it, around its outskirts, these runes flicker into existence. These blue, glowing runes, and they sort of appear in this wave around it, like a ripple around its circumference. And
is he telling me I should become a DJ? Is Blue Man Group 2018?
Well, he's looking at you with a very intent expression. And you sort of look down at this disc, and you look up, and he's gone. And then you look down again, and you're not holding the disc anymore. Instead, you're holding what looks like a bunch of signet rings, like the one you have, but like this is a lot of these rings, these Tearstone rings,
Damn, I was gonna drop some sick beats with that record slider. Guess not.
And these rings sort of, as you're trying to hold all of them, they sort of slip through your fingers and rain to the ground.
It's just raining signet rings.
Basically. But now you look up.
I'm in an ocean of the rings of my dead ancestors.
Yeah. Actually, yeah. As these rings land on the ground, there's more of them and more, and like you're holding more until the clearing is replaced by a sea of Tearstone signet rings that you are standing in.
I don't like it.
And
this makes me feel slightly uncomfortable.
And ahead of you, there's a new figure. The other prominent figure that you occasionally saw among the spirits that manifested when you went into your rage. This one, black cloak, leather armor with a pike, sort of muscular yet wiry frame, and black hair tied back in a ponytail and a shrewd expression. And this one is sort of, you see he's, for a moment he's holding the object, but then he's not anymore, and you see him closing.
Shouldn't it be a woman?
What was it a woman? Then yeah.
Yeah, because you're saying he.
Yeah, I couldn't remember. But yes, okay. Yes, it is a woman. And she's closing a set of doors. And you recognize these doors. They're a set of doors.
The doors to my heart?
Yes, no. They're a set of doors that exists in the castle of New Therenfall, but you've never thought much of them because, as far as you were aware, they just led to an empty room. But she closes these doors and looks back at you. And then the scene changes, and now you're seeing a group of shadowy figures approaching her, like from behind. But these aren't like the ones from before, and you see that these figures are wearing Tearstone rings. And one of them takes a knife and plunges it into her back. And you see her crumple, but as she falls, she looks at you and winks.
What a fucking prick.
And then they're gone, and you're left in this sea of signet rings facing these doors.
Yeah, I guess I'll walk over to the doors then.
All right, you walk over to them, and you know these doors, so tell me about them. Are they plain, ornate? How do you remember them?
Let's see. They'd have to be kind of plain, but they have like the sturdy like metal bolted rivets kind of on the bottom and the sides, and there's a big little metal latch in between the two of them.
Right.
So that's about all he would remember.
Mm-hmm. So you're standing in front of these doors.
I guess I'll attempt to open them.
All right. You reach out and you open. You like undo the latch and you reach for the handle and you pull it open, and then you blink. Your eyes open and you feel the taste of sand in your mouth.
Touch the darkness within my heart. May it bring you nourishment.
As you come to, you're on a shore. You seem to have washed up alongside the river. There's no sign of Riverbend in sight, but you're on the ground, just sort of.
I am going to kind of get to my knees, hands planted on the ground. Mm-hmm. That position, and just spit all the sand out of my mouth.
Yeah, you clear out your mouth, and there's still that bitter taste of sand in there, but you do your best to get most of it out.
I am going to. Do I have my greatsword on me?
Yes. You do still have your greatsword. It is secure.
Okay, the only thing I would have would be the javelin.
Yes. And as you think of the javelin and instinctively reach for it, the events of the conflict from earlier come back to you. Lawrence coming into town with his entourage, taking your javelin and forcing you to flee your party.
Gonna want that back.
Right.
Alright, I'm removing that from unequipped. I'll still leave it in the inventory, but we'll just know that I'll eventually have to get it back.
Right. You're de-equipping
so yes. So that leaves my greatsword and my spear. Okay. Alright, so just kind of checking my weapons. The only thing I do remember is I changed it. I'm at 10 health.
Okay, yes.
Actually, I'm gonna.
Yeah, you
actually.
That dream and your time in the river, you did get the benefits of a long rest.
Oh, okay then.
So you can just.
Long rest. Take long rest. Confirm. Baboosh.
You're a little sore, but you seem to have. The river was not terribly strong at this current time, and you were able to sort of float your way over here.
I'm going to stand up, walk over to the river, and wash all the sand off.
Mm-hmm.
I don't like sand. It just gets everywhere.
It is rough and coarse. And as you take in your surroundings, you can see you're pretty close to a road. It looks like, judging by the sun. Well, would Gerald be able to figure out directions based on the sun's position in the sky, or is he smart enough for that? What do you think?
I think I just realized why why my connection is kind of bobby. My thing's been set to US West when it should have been on US East for the region.
Oh,
it just went from like yellow to green as soon as I did that.
Okay.
Anyway, something about the sun.
Yeah, would Gerald be able to figure out directions based on the sun in the sky, or is he not smart enough?
Fuck no.
Okay.
He ain't smart enough for that shit.
So yeah, the sun's in the sky. It looks like it's getting a little lower. But yeah, there's no real way of knowing which way town was, but there is a road nearby that you could walk on.
All right, well then he will walk up to the road.
Mm-hmm. All right, and you start.
He will look left and right.
There is open plains.
Okay, he will go to the left and proceed in that direction.
As always. The tried and true method. All
as
right.
he's walking along this road, he's kind of like he has his greatsword and he's holding it in his right hand, and he's just kind of like dipping it on the road, making marks as he's walking, just kind of picking it up every so often, so leaving like a little dotted trail.
Okay. Now. Something about this session, I'm going to play very loose with time, and the reason I'm going to do that is because that makes it very flexible as to when you decide you want to reintroduce him into the main campaign.
Right.
We can basically say however long this took was the right amount of time. So you're traveling on this road probably for a few days, and what do you do for food?
For food, I mean, I could hunt.
All right. Just make a survival check for me.
Okay.
See how well you survive.
Gerald know how to hunt.
Yes. Unfortunately, he can't pre-cook anything.
Gerald know how to hunt pretty well because modified 20.
Wow. All right. Yeah. And this is actually not Gerald's first time setting off on his own, is it?
Nope. Well, he was on his own for a little while.
Yeah, after his initial exile, this would kind of be familiar to him. So you fall back into those patterns over these days of foraging for and hunting animals. But eventually, you do see a town in the distance. It is a very small town, more of a village, really. Not the size of Riverbend, just a small little rustic town. There's woods towards there are woods nearby it.
Gerald, as he's walking, is he on like a hill going down into this village?
If he wants to be, sure.
Okay, well, standing on the top of the hill, he's gonna kind of look out, put his hand over his eyes, and go, "Who lives in this dump?"
Make a perception check.
Perceive who lives in this. Nat 20.
Oh, okay. So you're looking out and saying, "Oh, who lives here? This looks like a crappy place." And then you see the flag flying from what looks like the most prominent building, and you immediately sort of your heart kind of sinks because the flag bears the Tearstone family crest.
Okay. I could avoid this town like the plague. Which I'm kind of tempted.
The woods do look a little inviting.
The fuck do I have on me? Equipment. Okay, water skin, signet ring. I am going to take my bedroll and wear it to cover my face.
Okay. What would this be? Hang on. I need to pull up your character sheet so I can figure out what this falls under. I'm thinking performance?
Okay.
Yeah. Just roll a d20 for now, and I'll figure out which skill it.
That would be 16 plus 1, so 17.
Okay, yeah, sure. You
starting off with those high rolls.
Yeah, right. Yeah, you manage to conceal. You sort of do a wrap where your eyes are still sticking out, and this thing is sort of covers your greatsword and part of the upper half of your body as well. Gotta hide those pecs.
I am the muscly. Is that guy wearing a sleeping bag? It's like a fucking turban. Shit. It's like
as you do get some odd looks as you enter the village.
I'm going to go to whatever the hell looked like a clothing shop.
Okay. Yeah, you're able to find a tailor pretty easily. It's a small town. It looks like a pretty basic affair. There's not a lot of fancy clothes, but the sort of bored-looking shopkeeper greets you and asks what you'd be looking for.
Gerald is gonna try and mask his voice.
Okay.
And he's gonna go. Yes, I need something to cover my face.
Make a deception check.
Nat 20.
Jesus.
This is off the Halloween die.
Okay. Yeah, he looks at you and says, certainly. What would you be looking for? I'm sorry. I'm sorry, fair maiden. I'm gonna have to ask you to speak up.
Fair maiden ?
Sort of a little Gilbert Gottfried thing going on. But yeah, he'll after some communication difficulty, he'll get what you're looking for. What exactly is it that you're looking to get?
Just like a black cloak with a hood to pull up.
Okay.
And, just kind of cover most of the stuff. Like the cloak that what the heck Guts wears to cover up his sword.
I don't think I've seen pictures of that, but I can gather more or less what you're talking about.
I might have a picture. Hold on. Yeah. So, come on, Discord. Yeah, that cloak that he's wearing.
Okay. Yeah, you're able to get something like that.
All right. How much?
Just 5 silver.
Okay.
Pretty basic stuff. But as you're making that transaction, the doors to the shop open, and in walk a couple guards.
Well, I'm going to have the cloak on, and I'm just kind of shuffle towards the back corner.
Okay. They start talking to the shopkeeper, and basically they're also ordering clothes.
I'm just gonna make it look like he's browsing through the little dresses.
Okay. One of them might shoot a curious glance over to you, but that's about it.
All I see is just this large cloaked figure looking at little dresses.
Yep. One of them says to the shopkeeper, "Did you hear about that mess up north?" And the shopkeeper says, "No. Can't say I did. What happened?" Said there was a regular blood feud going on up in Riverbend. One of the Tearstone, apparently the exiled Tearstone kid was located there, and the other one went to go apprehend him, but he slipped through his fingers. It's a whole mess. And you realize they're talking about the incident.
The incident?
Yeah. Can't say Lord Sigmund is very, very happy with the results of that.
Oh, I just kind of under his breath, Gerald. Oh, I bet.
So do you eventually duck your way out of the shop?
Yeah, he's just gonna kind of slide his way out to the entrance and make his way out.
Mm-hmm.
And from there, he'll try and find a weapon shop.
Okay. Man, make an investigation check. Small
All right,
village.
yeah, just
they may or may not have one.
Oh, blacksmith weapon shop.
Yeah. How's
a 3?
Unfortunately, this village is not the sort that usually gets adventurers or those looking for combat, and probably the most it's seen, you would guess, is since Sigmund's army sort of steamrolled over it.
All right, then I'll look for a general goods store.
Okay, that you're able to find.
He'll walk in and he's going to buy dried meat.
All right, dried meat. I should have the equipment page open so I know how much.
Basically, just non-perishable food.
Yeah. One moment. Adventure gear. There we go. I think I want rations. This thing would be a little faster. Rations would be. Damn it. A day of rations would be 5 silver.
Okay. So I don't think. Okay, I have 1 day. I think. How many of these do I fucking have? I already have 10 days of rations.
You probably burned through some of those. We haven't really been tracking that, but essentially it's assumed that you're eating that as you hit the road or.
Okay, then I just assume that all of them are gone, and okay. I will buy 10.
Okay, so get back up to equilibrium there. Yeah, so 50 silver would come to 5 gold.
Okay. Okay. And I'm going to check. Does he have anything like a knife I could purchase?
Yeah, he probably has something like that. Like, it's not really it's not a weapons store, but he has some rudimentary things for self-defense, and you could get a dagger for 2 gold if you wanted.
Okay, yeah, I was looking for something like a dagger. Mm. Where is it? Add? Is it add?
Yeah, you want to go to manage equipment, and then.
Oh, okay. I already got it.
Add items.
Okay. And I will equip that dagger. Okay, yeah, because he needs that for. It's hard to carve up an animal with a greatsword.
Sure.
So yeah, he needs that.
Yeah, you've kind of been chopping off like whole deer legs and just sort of having these very ungainly drumsticks.
You're like eating like a fucking drumstick.
Yeah.
Okay. That should be everything he needs. So he's gonna try and duck out of town.
All right. Is he gonna head towards the forest?
I guess the road that he was on would go through the town, correct?
Yeah.
Then he's gonna go on the other side of that road that, the one that was on, go around the town, get on that one, and then keep walking that way.
Yeah, that road actually does go through the forest.
Okay, then he's going that way. He's just going to follow the road because he don't know what the fuck to do at the moment.
Okay. So you enter this forest. It's like it's a pretty basic forest. It's not like the Deep Dusk, which was very, very sort of ominous and oppressive. This one's a lot more standard. And you start to make your way. And at this point, yeah, actually, the road ends.
It just ends?
Yeah. It's not. The road actually does in fact end.
Are there any nearby trees? I'm guessing there are.
I mean, you're in a forest, so take a guess.
Yeah, I'm just making sure. I'm going to try and climb one of those trees.
Okay. Just make an athletics check.
What the hell? It's athletics. Be 13 plus 7, so modified 20.
You easily scale the tree.
So I'm going to get to the top, and I'm going to look for anything notable in that, obviously, that distance in where I can turn my head.
You're trying to scan the horizon, essentially. Yep. Just make a perception check.
Perception. So 15.
Okay. You're sort of. It's hard to see through the whole forest, but you've gotten high enough that you can sort of see past the canopy. And you on the other edge of the on the other edge of the forest, it's basically flat land, like almost as far as the eye can see. And you realize that you're probably far to the south right now. So sort of getting an idea of how the map is laid out. New Theronfall is pretty far to the north. Then Riverbend's sort of in the middle as far as north-south goes. So you've gone the opposite direction. And it sort of occurs to you that
I'm way down at the bottom.
You're pretty far down, and like you see this flat land, and it occurs to you that you just came from a village that had been taken by Tearstone forces. This far down.
Oh shit! That's actually, that's kind of alarming. Anyway.
Yeah, a little bit.
Okay then. Okay. I guess he'll try and head out to the plains.
Okay. You climb down the tree and you start to make your way through the forest. And then you step on something and you have a moment to sort of say, what's this about? Before suddenly a net wraps around you and yoinks up.
Gerald just kind of sitting there. Motherfuck! Just boom.
Yeah, and you're sort of hogtied in this rudimentary net trap.
Can I try and reach for my dagger to cut it?
Yeah, you do start to cut it. And a few minutes go by of you slowly cutting your way out before you hear a voice say, well, that's a sight you don't see every day.
I'm going to try and figure out where the voice is.
And you sort of rotate till you're looking upside down.
Okay.
The blood sort of rushes to your head, and you're looking upside down at this guy who's in basic sort of woodsman style clothes. Ginger.
Okay. Soulless.
Yes. And he says, well, I usually put these traps out to catch animals, but I guess I caught something a little bigger today. What's your name, friend?
While still cutting, you first.
The name's Nigel. He is not smashing.
I'm sorry, I couldn't resist.
He says, I sort of make my home out in these woods. You traveling?
Yes, for the moment.
Looking for a place to stay?
Depends.
Here's a question. Where is Gerald's signet ring right now?
It's on his hand.
Okay. Okay. He doesn't seem to notice it for the moment. And he says, depends on what?
Location.
Well, my cabin is in these woods, pretty far removed from the path. I like privacy.
Oh, well, I like privacy too.
And he will sort of set about letting you out of the net at this point. And he holds his hand out to shake yours and says, "Didn't get your name."
Gerald kind of rolls his eyes and shakes it. Gerald.
He says, Gerald, interesting. Is that a foreign dialect?
Yes, I'm not from around these parts. I hail very, very far west.
He says, "Well, that is fine with me personally. I could do without some of the local culture as of late.
Yes. I don't like culture either.
He sort of chuckles at that. He says, "Well, it's more the recent shift in the nearby village's political climate. It didn't agree with me."
I don't like climates either.
And you sort of settle into this odd banter, I guess, as he sort of leads you back to his what's basically a cabin, a rustic-looking log cabin.
A cabin in the woods.
Yes, although not terribly spooky by any means.
Not a spoopy cabin.
No.
3 spoopy, 5 me.
Yep.
It looks in the cupboard. The spooky.
Oh. It took me a moment to place it. Yeah. He says, truth be told, I could use a little company out here. It's been a little lonely.
Yes, I imagine it would be. So, why spend all your time out here if it's lonely?
Well, truth be told, I'm not technically allowed in the village anymore. Or rather, I technically was going to be executed.
Oh! That does seem bad, doesn't it?
Quite.
What for?
Well, if you're not from around here, I don't know if you're familiar with the local warlords.
No, I haven't the slightest idea. What's a warlord?
He says, there's a man by the name of Sigmund Tearstone to the north who's been expanding his territory of late. And a few weeks back, his forces basically marched into town. We, up until recently, we had considered the Tearstones a distant threat at best. They were amassing their territory up north. We seemed removed from that conflict, but we were proven wrong. I made the mistake of being a bit too vocal in my distaste for the...
While he's saying this, Gerald is slowly going to take off his signet ring and just kind of make like a little necklace from some rope and put it on his neck under the cloak.
Okay, just make a sleight of hand check.
Be 14.
Okay. He's not really paying attention. He's more just...
He's too busy complaining.
Yeah, he says, yeah, the guards didn't take kindly to dissenters. So, truth be told, I would like to be as far away from this town as possible, but unfortunately, there are things keeping me nearby.
This Sigmund guy sounds like an asshole.
Quite. Yeah, he's... Well, I don't much like being lorded over.
I don't think anybody was.
Yeah, well, everyone else is mostly content to deal with the curfew, the living conditions, the military control. But I'm fine with the woods. At least I'm close to my family.
My father was very controlling.
Was he?
Yes.
I suppose it does happen. Well, it seems like you struck out on your own, though, so I guess it worked out in the end, eh?
Yes, left of my own volition.
Yeah. Well, independence. I feel independence is usually a good thing in these circumstances.
Yes. So have you heard anything about this Sigmund guy?
Well, I know he's ruthless and filled with ambition. He's since he's taken control, it sounds like he's absorbed.
Just kind of under his breath, Gerald. More like full of shit.
It sounds as though he's absorbed most of the western side of the country. With seems like there's only one major holdout at this point, and that's Balstrad, which is sort of to the west. He's, from what I hear, he's pretty determined to crack that particular nut.
The walls of bossing say.
Basically.
Anyway, no, it just came to me. Just the walls of bossing say.
Yeah.
Does he have a large drill? Is he going to get through with a large drill?
Nigel is not aware of his methods.
Yeah, I know. So your family, they live in town?
Yeah. I was able to at least spare them from the wrath of the guards by fleeing.
And how many guards are in town?
A good dozen or so, although they work in shifts, so it's usually less.
Let me see. What do you know about this area? What's around here besides that village?
Honestly, not much. This whole area, a few hundred years ago, used to be ocean. That's why it's all flatland right now.
Interesting. And you're not worried about the tides coming back?
Well, I did say it was several hundred years ago.
What's the nearest town or city?
He thinks about that. Well, we're sort of in the middle of nowhere. There are small villages sort of dotting the landscape, although they're not very well mapped out. You sort of wander around, you bump into one eventually. The biggest city would probably be one that the DM hasn't named yet, to the south.
Hot. I want to go to the city the DM hasn't named yet. That's a nice sounding town. I wonder what it's like there.
Yeah, it's basically a port town outside Daggertooth Bay.
Okay.
And then to the north, the second closest would probably be Riverbend.
Not looking to go back there anytime soon.
Anyway, this village is named Krentz.
Well, I'll stay the night and be on my way in the morning. I appreciate your hospitality.
He nods and says, "As you wish. Just know, I'm not going anywhere if you decide to stay longer."
I'll keep it in mind. I appreciate it.
Okay. You stay the night. In the morning, you see that Nigel has caught some food, some game, and is cooking it up. And you sort of wake up to the very pleasant scent of breakfast, and your stomach rumbles considering the rations and game you've been. I mean, I guess it's sort of similar to what you've been subsisting on, but
yeah.
He invites you to take a seat and He's honestly pretty good company. Like, he's um, unlike a lot of people that you've been traveling with, he sort of accepts your eccentricities and sort of he seems to be of a mindset that hard times sort of make strange bedfellows, so he's just made the best of it.
How much food did he make?
A good amount. He sort of took stock.
Gerald takes half.
Yeah, yeah. He sort of took note of your stature and cooked and made an appropriate amount of food. Um. Uh. So yeah. Well, I guess what do you do?
After eating, I will collect my things. I will thank him and be on my way.
Okay. Um. Uh. So you leave and start to be on your way. Um. And as you're leaving, make a perception check.
18.
Okay. As you're leaving, as you've sort of made a bit of progress, you notice in the dirt the footprints that you and Nigel left on the previous day on your way to the cabin.
Mm-hmm.
And you hear some voices.
I'm going to hide on the side of the cabin.
Okay. Are you positioned in a way that you're trying to see the front as well?
Peering around the corner.
Okay, just make a stealth check.
Oh, the fuck! Stealth also -1, so 17.
Okay, that's still pretty good. You see what looks to be a few guards who look like they're following your trail. And they approach the cabin, and one of them knocks roughly. And you hear some movement in the cabin, and Nigel say, "1 second." And you hear the door open, and you can't really see the full front because you're sort of at an angle, but you hear him say, as the door opens, you hear him say, "Oh, so you decided to come back after all?" And then you hear the sounds of the guards entering roughly, and the sounds of a struggle.
How many guards were there?
4.
4?
And you hear them. You hear the sounds of a struggle coming to an end, and you watch as they march him out with manacles on and a bag over his head, and they start to head back towards town.
Well, while they're doing that, fuck it. I guess it's time to nut up or shut up. Gerald is going to rage.
Okay.
And bum rush these guards and try and cleave one of their heads clean off.
Okay. Let me get this set up real quick. So in a moment, I'm going to ask you to roll initiative. I didn't have this quite ready. But as you approach, you see that one of these guards appears to be sort of a captain type.
Mm-hmm.
And the others are pretty rudimentary, basic guards. You would guess not as well trained as the ones that accompanied Lawrence.
Right.
But yeah. 1 second. Need to do that. Okay. Now it is time to roll initiative. What'd you get?
19.
Nice. Okay, that's what they got. And wow, they were caught pretty flat-footed, all things considered.
Gotcha.
Yeah, you go first as you bum rush these guards. Which one are you targeting?
So there's three normies and the captain.
Yeah.
I'll go for one of the normal guys first.
Okay.
What the heck? 19 plus 7?
Oh yeah. Yeah, go ahead and roll damage against the guy as you like plow into him.
So 8 plus 4 would be 12.
Okay, yeah. You said you wanted to cleave one in two or something?
Cleave his head off.
Yeah, that's exactly what happens.
Okay, good.
Yeah, it goes flying, and the guards sort of shout an alarm and draw their weapons.
And as soon as I cleave that one's head off, I'm going to go for the nearest other normal guard and do the same thing.
Yep, you do have multi-attack now.
Oh yeah, and that should have been plus 5 on that. I mean, he's dead anyway because of Charger, but it doesn't really matter. Mm-hmm. What the hell? 13 plus 7, so modified 20.
Yep. These guards were not at all prepared for this, like, titan of a man with a great sword.
6 plus 3 is 9 plus 4, which would be 13.
13. Yep. That like. In the blink of an eye, you come out of nowhere and dispatch 2 of these guards effortlessly.
Just shing, shing, like before they even blink, just the 2 heads hit the ground, 2 bodies stand there for a moment, and basically all they're going to see is a large man with a black cloak and a bloody sword, and all they're going to see is his mouth smiling, and he'll just go, "Who's next?"
At this point, the guard captain draws his weapon and goes right for you. That would be a 23.
That hits.
And a 15.
Those both hit.
Okay. So, let's see here. That would be 7 and then 9. So 16 halved to 8 total slashing damage. As he takes 2 strikes with his longsword. And then the other guard will draw what looks like a spear and try to impale you with it. And crits, actually.
Okay.
Doing a total of 12, 13. So 13 halved to 7 piercing damage.
All right.
So these guards come at you, and you're in the thick of battle, and they're also shouting an alarm at these spectral blue forms that have materialized around you, and they haven't really identified the rings on their fingers yet, but they're alarmed nonetheless. And we're back to you.
So I'm going to attack the normal guard once.
Mm-hmm. Okay, go for it.
19 plus 7?
Yep.
Alright. 5 plus 6 plus 4 plus 2, so he's dead.
Yes. So his upper half and his lower half are no longer together.
Connected.
Yeah.
And I'm going to back away from the captain.
Okay.
And I'm going to run towards the log cabin.
Okay.
And jump off the wall to dive into him.
Okay. I'm going to allow it. Go roll your attack.
That would be 11 plus 7. So, is that 19?
Hit. Yeah, that would hit.
All right. So we have 6 plus 6.
Okay.
So that would be 12.
Okay.
Plus 4, which would be 18. Plus 2, which would be 20.
12 plus 4 is 16.
Wait, my bad. 12 plus 4. 12 plus 4 is 16.
Plus 2 is 18.
Plus 2 is 18, and then add the 5 for the charger.
So 23.
23.
So yeah, a mighty blow, and you jump off and do this dive bomb straight into him, and you're feeling the blood pump in your temple, and the sort of heat of adrenaline, and then as you sort of blink, you realize that the heat isn't just coming from you. And and you open your eyes to see that your sword plunged in this guy's chest is on fire.
Oh baby.
And let me just look something up real quick, because I felt the appropriate moment.
Okay.
To officially give you to turn your greatsword into a flame tongue greatsword.
Okay.
So go ahead and go into manage equipment and add items and find that one for me.
Manage equipment.
Yeah, just search flame tongue. One word.
Flame tongue greatsword?
Yep.
Alright. Add. And I guess I'll remove my regular greatsword. Alright. Actions. Equipment. Where are you? Greatsword. Alright. Remove.
And is that one that requires attunement?
I think so.
Okay. So here's the thing. Normally you'd have to spend a half hour with it, but as it's the weapon you've like had all this time, you've sort of done that already. So go ahead and click on it where you see its description. Click the button that says attune.
Yep, I already did.
Okay. So, and now I'd like you to roll an additional 2d6 fire damage.
Okay. So that would be 6 plus 2, so 8.
8. All right. He takes that. He's still up, but he yells in pain at this. And now it's his turn. He is going to disengage and book it.
Opportunity attack.
Well, yeah, sentinel attack specifically.
Yup.
Yeah, that's not something he was aware of. So go ahead and make that attack.
Uh, 18 plus 7?
Yep.
Alright, so we're going to roll 2d6 plus 4 for the initial attack. So that's 4 plus 1 is 5 plus 4, which would be 9 plus 2 is 11.
Mm-hmm.
And then add in the fire damage for another 8, so 19.
Yep. Yeah, he screams in pain, and his speed becomes 0 for the rest of the turn.
Oh yeah, because it's a sentinel attack.
Yeah, so he is completely hamstrung in his ability to run away. And now he is sort of almost crumpled on the ground, hands up, sort of pleading at you, and it's back to your turn.
So he just sees this guy with this, cloaked figure with this menacing flaming sword over him, and Gerald's gonna look down at him, and go, "All right, now talk."
About what?
Everything you know, I will know, or else I'm going to cook you slowly.
He says, I mean, you're gonna have to be more specific. You want to know what the best places to eat in town are? What is it?
I want to know about the surrounding land. I want to know about all of the troop positions in the area, and I want the keys to those manacles, and I want you to forget any of this ever happened, or else I will find you, and I will burn you.
Just make an intimidate check with advantage.
All right. Intimidation. 19.
Yeah, he nods his head and will go dig into his clothes and hand you a map of sort of troop positioning in the surrounding area. It's a localized map, but it seems to go a decent amount of distance towards the surrounding towns.
Also, your orders scroll. I need it.
Well, what exactly are you asking for?
The scroll of orders that Sigmund sends out to his troops, they all have... Whoever's the commanding officer will have it.
Right, and these would basically say you're to be stationed in so-and-so and, well, whatever. Well,
right.
Yeah, he'll hand those to you as well. Basic.
I also need one more thing from you.
What?
Your signet of rank.
He shakingly will. Is that like a ring?
It's like a little emblem pendant.
Gotcha.
So basically, it just says that I'm a captain.
Right. He'll take that off and hand it to you.
Now, leave your weapons and flee with your life.
He puts them down. A long sword, a short sword, and a heavy crossbow. And he will book it.
Pleasure doing business with you.
And he also leaves the key.
Well, Gerald will pick up the key and walk over to Nigel.
Yep.
And he will take the bag off his head and undo the cuffs.
He's sort of panting for breath, and he says, "Many thanks, friend. I thought that was it. I guess my cabin wasn't as secluded as I thought it was."
Well, you might perhaps want to look into moving elsewhere. But in the meantime, there's a sword, well, a couple of swords, and a bow over there that's got your name on it. And Gerald kicks one of the corpses, and whatever these fools have on them, also yours.
Right, I'll probably want to find a place to bury them. That was and he sort of looks at the now fading blue forms of your ancestral spirits, and he says, "What was all that?"
I do not know.
He
just kind of happens when I get mad.
He just sort of nods slowly and says, "Well, I'd like to relocate, but it's not that simple. But with the family still being in town, I don't want to just abandon them."
Well, it might be your issue to figure out. Perhaps take your family with you, move somewhere to a more enlightened region of this continent.
I'm more concerned about being seen in town, but if you leave that cloak with me, I might have a chance.
This cloak is fairly important to me. I don't want people to know what I look like.
All right. I mean, if you say so. It's your call, I suppose. But you probably saved my life just now, and I won't forget that.
Well, I should be on my way.
And he says, oh, very well. Thank you.
As Gerald's walking away, just kind of looking at his flaming sword.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh. Ooh. Ooh.
Yeah, and in your wake, he'll sort of follow you for a bit and just sort of erase your trail so other guards can't find their way there.
All right.
It was a bit of an oversight he made the other day. So yeah.
But yeah, I guess the sword will extinguish and Gerald will carry it on his back and move on.
All right. And I guess at this point, we've sort of hit the end of the stuff I had prepared. So
Okay.
Just general things now. What do you expect the rest of Gerald's time sort of on the run to look like?
That would be obviously dodging troops, hiding his identity, helping out the odd person where he goes.
I imagine using the map of troop placement to avoid the more heavily controlled areas.
Well, that was kind of the point of why he asked for it.
Sure. And occasionally you're able to bluff your way past the occasional guard with the equipment you picked up. The emblem and whatnot. But yeah, you can sort of make your way in whatever direction you sort of find, and that direction will depend on when you decide to have Gerald meet back up with the group, I suppose.
The only thing that I'd like to happen is Gerald to meet a kind of a witch or a wizard.
Okay.
Along his way.
There's probably one in some town somewhere.
Well, you'll see why in a minute.
Okay. Do you want to roleplay this?
Yes.
Okay, so you enter like some wizard's home. It's like a pretty sort of middle-aged, running some experiments. And he says, yes, what do you need?
Just kind of slams the sword down on the table. It ignites.
Mm-hmm.
What does this do?
He raises an eyebrow and examines it and says, that would be, you've got a flame tongue weapon there, it looks like.
Well, yes, I know what it is, but why?
I'm not sure I take your meaning.
Okay, so there I was, killing people, and then suddenly my sword just...
People, I hope. People who deserved it? Just to clarify?
Probably?
Good enough, go on.
And then it just woof, just flames.
And it didn't do that before?
No, never.
Curious. Well, if you want, I could study it. I'd have to examine it over a period of time, though, to sort of really dig into what properties it might contain.
All right. I'll stick around.
Okay. So he'll basically need to experiment on this thing over a period of a few days to really give you an answer.
Okay.
And it'll cost you about I would say 50 gold just for the expenses incurred for the research.
Okay.
So just mark that off. But basically, the information he finds is that the weapon is sort of appears to have bonded itself to you in a way that goes beyond normal attunement. Like he explains, the way attunement works is typically you bond with a magic item and you gain access to its power. But this is more like but that's more like a person tapping into the power of a magic item. This is like a two-way thing. You're gaining power from it, but it's also gaining power from you. And he says he hasn't really seen anything like it before. And it might have something to do with a sort of metaphysical enchantment, say on a family line. Like that sort of stuff is extremely theoretical for his line of research and not something he's had any real practical experience with. But he thinks that there is a possibility of a sort of enchantment on a concept, on a conceptual level of like a family that could.
Gerald will ask him if the wizard can research him.
He would need more details than that. Have you in like a lab chair and experiments run on you.
Gerald will rage.
Okay, you sort of concentrate and you sort of try like concentrate, sort of like Bruce Banner style, trying to Hulk out. And yeah, you sort of manifest the blue spirits for a moment, and he sort of reacts with surprise, and says that is something that will take him a while to figure out, but he sort of seems eager to have that as a project, to sort of look into that. Like he says that essentially come back to him in maybe a month or two, and he'll basically be looking through tomes and things, trying to find whatever information he can on that.
All right. And what's this wizard's name?
God damn it. It is
Bob. It's Bob. It's Bob. Bob the wizard.
It's Robert. His name is Robert.
Oh, Robert.
Yes.
Darn it. Well, Bob is a nickname for Robert.
For Robert. He'll, like, probably you start calling him Bob, and he's like visibly a little annoyed by it.
Okay, Bob. Yep, Bob. Okay, Bob. 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 Bob.
But yeah, he'll commit to making this a bit of a project of his. So yeah, I'm assuming you're not going to stay in one place for that amount of time, and you're probably going to try and find, like, eventually you'll find your way back to the group, and presumably once that happens, you'll find a time to come back to him.
Yeah, no, Gerald's going to keep moving around.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so yeah, we'll say, just for the sake of it, he was in that bigger city that I have not yet come up with a name for. That's sort of the big port town to the south.
Okay, yeah, you can hang around there.
And also worth noting, the Tearstone forces have not gotten that far. That city is still free.
Well, then he'll definitely hang out there.
Okay. Yeah, it is nice having a bit of freedom from that. So yeah, he sort of maybe he takes up some fishing or something.
He takes up fishing.
Or maybe he goes out on a little skiff every now and then out into the bay.
Yeah, he joins up with some old fisherman captain and just like works to catch fish.
His name is Jebediah, and he's the cousin. He's the cousin of Jeremiah.
Oh God! No, my cousin Jebediah. He used to be chairman arm wrestling gladiatorial. They beat him.
Yeah. Funnily enough, you find out that Jeremiah was originally from here and moved north.
Was what?
Was originally from this port town and moved north.
Oh, and like fucking all the sailors talk like that.
No, he was sort of the odd one out in that regard.
Okay, yeah, that's fine. I could see that as a thing he could be doing, is fishing under Jebediah.
Yeah. So yeah, you sort of make a little home away from home in the city, and we'll figure out what happens next at a later point.
Okay.
And with that, I will stop recording because I think we are good on that.